You know what the layers, F7, Control C, Control V, Control A, take the move tool, move it to the left side. So as a reference, it is there for us on the left. Right. There are two images, Alt S T, transform to this much of area to be get crop up. Yes. Now the stage is ready. So it is a time to go for the action. What do you need? The color correction to be done to the photograph. Image adjustment. Go for hue saturation. Here switch to the colorized mode. What happened? Instantly everywhere it get colorized. Right? So instead of doing directly to the photograph the color correction, we can do it up through this particular option. Same color correction is here, hue saturation. Now in this hue saturation from the layer mode, it allow the artist to get it command at any time you can hide and place. But if you directly do color correction from the image, it will apply to the image directly. So now we have understood where to get the action for this kind of jobs. Have a double click at any time you can open this. Fine. Here in the hue saturation, you do have option called colorize. Now the action has to be done to this particular photograph. Let us take this as a reference. Then it is the layer mask which comes. Select this much of area and get it reverse and fill the other area as black. So the black filling is to be done in the mask zone. So what we have seen, the color correction is applied to this photograph because it is the mask. Layer mask concept we have already learned. Now the color correction is happening through a masking option inside the adjustment layer, which is not possible directly. So hope we have understood what is the advantage of making the color corrections not from the image adjustment, but from the layer adjustment. So where is layer adjustment, where is image adjustment, both are shown to you. And you can see the same thing, layer adjustment. The same color correction tools can be find out here. The same color correction tools can be find out from here. The difference we find out once we are applying something from here, we cannot have to go back because directly it applied to the image. But if we are doing something color correction through the layer adjustment, these are all the same color correction, exactly the same thing. But at any point, we can able to hide this and show this. So it doesn't apply directly to the image. It is just overlapping with a separate layer. So hope we have understood now what is the difference between adjustment layer and adjustment layer. So the color correction could be done in two ways. It is permanent applied. It is temporary apply over to the layer. At any time, we can able to hide. We can show. We can mask. We can change. So these are the advantages once we are doing the color correction through adjustment layer. And this could be open either layer menu or layer window. In both the way, we can able to open this. So initially we got to know like the action could be done in two different places and their limitations and their strength. So here we have start up with a color correction tool called hue saturation, and here it gives the artist the option like to turn the photograph into a single color mode that through the command called colorize. Once it turn into a single color mode, now it is the time to control that with the help of hue, saturation and brightness. In the last class, we have understood color does have a property called hue, and hue means the pure form of the color. It is calculated with which unit degree. Along with the hue, every color does have two parts, and that is called saturation and brightness. By the combination of these three, the final output comes as a color, and that is technically called as HSB, hue, saturation, and brightness. So saturation is purity of the color, purity. Brightness is the light value of the color. So every color does have a pure form and an impure form. And every brightness does have a 0 bright and 100% bright. 0 purity, 100% purity. That means saturation and brightness is calculated with percentage. Whenever any particular color or any photograph turn into 0 purity, then it turns into black and white. In fact, it is not black and white, it turns into gray color. So none of the color, whenever it turn into black and white, will switch to black or white. No. Every color in its impure format is gray. That means black and white are not the colors, but we call that as a black and white. But it is, in fact, it is gray. So now got to know what is the difference between black and white and a gray. Black means complete black and white means complete white. But gray is the black and white version of the color. So now we have understood what is the difference between black, white, and gray. Gray is the middle format of black and white. Now, any photograph's light value or brightness, if you turn into 0, then it will turn into black. If any photograph's bright value turn into white, then it turns into white. So hope we have understood what will happen when the saturation go down, what will happen if the saturation will go up, what will happen if the brightness will go up and the brightness will down, and what will happen if the hue get changed, color will get changed. So the technical information has been passed. Now the practical output on your screen. Same thing happen over here. If you are changing the hue, then the color is changing. Once you satisfy with the color, then you can able to increase the purity or decrease the purity to make black and white. That means saturation controls the purity of your things. How much pure you want that color. Then if light is over, we can switch to under. If the light is under, we can switch to over by the lightness. This is overall lighting. So hope this 3 slider is understandable and this button is clear. Once the colorize button is on in hue saturation, then it make everything to turn into single color format. If colorful photograph are there, then anyhow it is black and white, so it is turned into single color. No, you don't find any difference. Fine. So we have understood how to control this and get the first thing to be done. Fine. Now this is what the color of your skin you want. So this is one of the color correction could be done. Now again duplicate this. So this is for skin. You can rewrite this skin color. So above to that, you can hide this now. You need to make a dress color. So how does the dress require? Have a double click and bring the dress color of your choice. Right? Let the face to be turned into that color, doesn't matter. What to do that I'm making mention. So here your dress color. Now if you need the hair color or something, then you can do this. But for the timing, these two required. Okay, let us go for this. Switch on this both and work on the both. On the topmost, we don't require the dress color on the face. So what we can do, take the brush, start up coming to the mask and paint the black. Now the white is there, paint the black. So what will happen? It will show the behind thing here. Is it clear now? Give a right click, switch the hardness down and bring it up. So we have understood now how to reveal the area, whatever we want. So simple. You're just working with a mask. You're painting this mask now. And get it, zoom up, come over here, take the brush size down, and start painting the sensitive area with a lesser size of your brush. And the middle area, you can roughly paint off. And get only need to take care of the edge. And in the middle, you can paint. So hope we have understood what can be done with Photoshop brush and the color correction tools. If something goes wrong here, nothing to get worried. Just paint the white. Your original photograph is in safe mode. At any time, you can see the original photo and get the colors. And here some skin tone is there, skin is there. So come here, go this, and get the skin to open up. Now I've seen how to make a black and white to color within fractions, very less time. So you have not taken more time. Now, the choice is with you. At any time, if you feel like the color to be get change of the dress, you have seen this is the dress. Have a double click, change the dress. Now, whenever you're changing the dress, it is affecting to the hair. So hair is not to be affected. So what you can do? Take the brush, start painting the head area also the same. So you can find the behind part. And the behind, the skin color is now affecting to the hair. So we can able to hide this too. The original hair is shown now. And in both the cases, like it's just arrangement of your colors. You're just hiding and showing the original thing. And on the top, if green is affecting, so get it off. Or else fully clean this and clean in the back side also. Hope we have understood how to use the color correction tool to make a black and white to color. A lot of demand is there in the market and very less artists are there. In every photo studio you will find Photoshop technicians required. And the fact is like, yes, learning is one part and getting output to be in a productive way, we need to think. So hope we have understood what we have learned, how it could be executed to certain extent. Again, a lot of detailedness could be given, but only one tool we have learned, and that tool name is called hue saturation. And it allows the artist to make the color to get changed up. And the second thing we have understood, what is adjustment layer and how to work on it. Is it clear now? Is it okay? Getting the voice? Hello?
Sorry, sir.
Okay. Now we'll switch to a next example. So hope this example you have understood through the hue saturation. Now we'll learn few more tools regarding the color correction. Open the photograph. And if we need this yellow color flower to get changed, the same hue saturation could be used up from here. In the last class, we have seen a lot of math behind the colors understanding, and that is called degree, and the above one is the degree format. Here you can switch the degree and get the color to be changed up. But the thing is how to restrict this and how to know which degree is how much. That also we have learned in the last. As if we have seen uh, 0 degree represents red color. To get a review of last class, 0 represents the red, green represents 120, and blue represents 240, Yellow represents in the middle of red and green with 60, and in between the blue and red, the magenta stands with 300 degree. And by mixing the green and blue, we can form this cyan color. So this is what the theoretical things, 180 degree. So now the yellow color to be turned into red, then 60 degree minus you need to come. And that is what we are doing inside this 60 degree minus minus 60. So hope we have understood how does the slider moves and get the things to be done up. Again, if you have done something and we are not satisfied, then you can hold the alt button and make this cancel button to turn into reset. Now you got to know how to reset your work. Rather than bringing to 0, yes, we can have to hold the alt button and can find the cancel will turn into a reset. And the work is done up. And here, again, things to be observed here. There are two sliders here. The upper slider represents the photograph color, and the below slider is representing your color, what you are changing. Now the yellow color, yours is matching to the yellow of the top. That means original photograph. That's why the yellow is yellow. But if you need to turn the yellow color into a red color or green color, you need to bring this slider to come down to the yellow form. And that bringing of the color will be done by the slider. So you can see now, whenever the yellow is representing this green, then the flowers is turning to green color. So this is a different format of understanding the thing. Once you understand this, then without looking to the photograph also, we can able to make the color correction. So check to the screen now. We are not watching to the photograph. And yes, we are making it down and bring this color correction tool and turn the yellow color flower to blue color. So drag the slider, you can see this blue color come out. Or pink color, then you can drag it and make it to pink color. So you can see yellow below pink is there. And get it okay and see the photograph, yellow is pink. What you have seen, once you understand the logic, then without looking to the photograph, you can make the color correction through hue saturation. F12, bring it over here. So hope we have understood what is hue saturation and how does the color correction happens. What is this slider? What do they mean? Now, we have seen how to make complete single color. We have seen how to make a particular color. But what we have seen, the whole exercise is happening to the whole canvas. Instead of that, if you need to restrict the color correction to yellow zone only, then instead of master, you can switch to the yellow. Here what happens, the yellow slider is blocked here. Whatever the color correction will happen, it will not affect to the blue. Before it was affecting to the blue and green. Now wherever the yellow or yellow's reflection is there, there only the color correction will happen. Now check. The blue is unaffected. And here at the place of green also it is affecting because yellow tint, yellow shading is there. But if you need to avoid that, then here the slider is there. Inside the green, whatever the yellow tint is there, that is also affecting. You can restrict the block and bring the green zone not to be affected. So green is not affecting now more. So hope we have understood how to avoid the color, how to restrict the color and make the color corrections to the yellow part only. Does it clear? Is it okay? Fine then. So yes, it is a little difficult only, but not so super science. Anybody can do this. Go to the yellow, restrict the block. Now, the thing required is like we need this yellow color flower to turn into black and white. Don't touch to the red up. So red should be untouched. This is not to be required to touch. And get this saturation to turn into 0. So hope we have understood now how does this saturation affect the final output and get this block out. Hope we have understood how to make color corrections without doing selection. Selection చేయలేదే కూడా మనం color correction చేయొచ్చు because color recognitions to be done up. So hope we have understood now what is before and after. Is it clear? Without doing any selection, we can turn a particular part of the photograph to turn into the next with the range selection inside the hue saturation button. The presentation, yes, presentation does matter whenever you make anything, how to present out. You can make that as a pattern. Already you have learned the pattern. Already you have learned what is called revert, original bring up. Already you have learned how to make the crop tool to double the canvas. Start using all this and make your presentation. And get this much of area to select and place here the pattern. Fill the pattern. Which pattern? The last pattern. Whatever you have created, get it okay. So you can give the presentation at the interview desk what was before, what you have done. Then the other person can able to understand, okay, this input and output clear. Is it okay? Now we have got some idea like how we can able to make a black and white to color and a color to black and white through making what? This saturation 0. Once the saturation turn into 0, any photograph turn into black and white. Black and white in the sense gray color. So this is one of the exercise we have understood. And two are productive format. Only one part you got to know also like the market value of present market, like to make a black and white to color. They start in Hyderabad market like from 200 to 1500. And that is known to you now. Yes, initially it will be not perfect, no prices, but works, you know. And this logic will work inside the filmmaking course also. So you can find like suddenly the hero turn into black and white and heroine is in colorful. Environment is in colorful. Only the hero is in black and white. All these things are done through this technique. Saturation 0. Saturation is a factor which they take care into the consent. You don't example Ardhamayna? Does it okay?
Okay.
Right. Next part. We'll see some more examples. So making it as a pattern. So later we can see it now. How to turn instantly black and white without using hue saturation. There are few color correction tools that doesn't require any slider to go. Just one button click, job is done. So here we have understood how to make black and white through the image adjustment and desaturation. Is it okay? One more color correction tools we have introduced. That is desaturation. And one of the things we have already done, hue saturation. And the keyboard shortcut for is CTRL plus U. And the control shift and D also, like image as a control shift U. This is control U, this is control shift U. CTRL shift plus U. So two color correction tools. Now the next third one. And this doesn't have any controller. One hit, like the desaturation doesn't have controller. One hit, the job is done. What exactly the software does, it make all the channels to go for a single tint. Now let us go analysis thing. Why the flower is yellow? Now listen to my word. If you cannot understand, it's the magic. The flower is yellow. It is not because it is yellow. Again, listen to the word. The flower is yellow because it is not yellow. Because there is no blue. And in the color correction, you got to know red plus green is equal to yellow. That's why it is yellow. If this statement is understandable, then you can understand the logic of Photoshop. Yellow color asale yellow enduku yellow ante ikkada blue లేదు బట్టి అది yellow. They are removing the blue, that's why the red and green is there, that's why it looks like yellow, but in fact there is red and green. This is what the logic to speak out. So colors forms in this manner, and here you can find what is the percentage of red value, green value and blue value. Because there is black in blue, there is no information. Red plus green turns into yellow. But whenever we are switching to the button called desaturation, the software does all the channels to turn into a single color. So there is no difference between them. That's why it looks like black and white. So now we have understood how does black and white forms and how does color forms. Black and white is a same value to all channel. Black and white is a version of giving same value to all the channels, then instantly you can able to make a black and white. Now, every photograph does have a different kind of black and white. And in the last class, we have seen like how does black and white can able to help us in making masking also. So if you need to make photo cutting, then come over here inside the channel, have a click, get it inverse and go to the photograph, come to the layers and ask to the photograph or the software to make the selected area as a mask. Job is done. So you have seen how to use a black and white to make a photo cutting. If this is understood, again a next level things you have learned. What you have seen now, how to use a black and white information to make as a masking or photo cutting. That means if we can able to find out the right channel, then you can make the photograph to cut off exactly without making selection also. That means black and white does have a value. It is not only black and white, it is a photo cutting equipment. So a big conclusion we got to know. So this is higher part of Photoshop. Who this much of things doesn't required for like web designing people. But if you're coming to film, visual effects, yes, this is must end. Now black and white is not a color of things to watch, but it is a factor which helps to do selection in the form of mask. So hope we have understood how the black and white can be used to make a mask and why the software gives this many options to make black and white. So to have a black and white, you can see now every channel is a black and white. Every mask is a black and white. Every desaturation is a black and white. So they have equipped this many methods to make black and white. And they have given these many methods means there is huge. Now the factor, we can come to the original. Now we'll see what is the other way of making color corrections. And the next tool is invert. What is the tool name? Invert. Let us make the theory to get complete. Invert. It brings the complement color. What color? Complement. In the last class, we have learned what is complement. The color which stands at 180-degree difference is called complement color. Example, red complement cyan, yellow complement blue, green complement magenta. Does it okay? And the time when you switch to the invert button, then instantly wherever red is there, it will turn into cyan. And yellow, wherever there, it will turn into blue. And wherever sky cyan color is there, it will turn into magenta. So the theory we have explained. Now the practical, it is just one click go. But why it come? Like what is the logic behind it? Before it come, our brain has to see this. Then we are trained technician. Am I right? No? క్లిక్ చేసిన తర్వాత ఎవరన్నా సరే అర్థమవుతుంది. క్లిక్ చేసే ముందు అక్కడ ఏం రావాలో అది విజువలైజ్ టు బి దేర్. Hope we have understood what is invert command and how the color comes up. If black is there, it will turn into white, but black and white are not colors. We are not considering that. Rest of the things like it will switch to the 180-degree difference color. And here in this case, you can see like red color before it turns into cyan. Yellow color before it will turn into blue. It turned into blue. So we have understood now how does the color correction happens with the invert command by one button click. Now anything you have done, you can able to switch into the pattern, like you can save that into a pattern. Then that particular pattern could be paint up on the screen through the paint brush, like pattern brush. There is a pattern brush. Yes, beside to the history, below the clone and stamp tool. It is a new tool again you are learning. Till clone and stamp you have seen the thing. Switch to the pattern. Rather than painting the color from the canvas, like from the foreground, we can able to paint the image directly on this. And that painting is done by this particular option. And he will ask you which image to be patterned or which pattern to be painted. Choose it up on your option bar and get them painting. So here we have seen now how to make the color correction and get it paint to a certain part. And if something goes wrong, anyhow, the history is there, bring the original back. So here we got to know like the two tools can able to help us to make paint. If something goes wrong, get back. Name of the tool, pattern stamp. Name of the tool, history brush. So you can combine these two and make the color correction to happen. S and Y. One is history brush. And next is your which tool? Pattern stamp. Clone stamp is the before one where you are making ropes and all remove, but pattern stamp will make your pattern to paint on the screen. And history brush will bring the original if something got paint wrong. You can switch the keyboard shortcut S and Y and make the desirable place to be effect with the color correction, whatever you have done. S and Y. This is one of the approach. The second approach of the pattern stamp tool, yes, it is also a part of the color correction solving. So let us take this example, the photograph. You can make this photograph as a pattern and take your pattern stamp tool, switch to that pattern, get your brush size down, and we know about the mode called screen mode. What it does, it make light to the photograph. So you can find now the lighting comes up. Because at that particular place, we are making the screening. So screen means what? That we have learned. What is the screen means? It brings the light on the image, or because it will make the calculation to bring the higher value onto the screen. On the brush, we have seen all the details. Now get the opacity down and start fitting light. So you can say now how to bring the light before and after. So the difference comes because of your pattern stamp tool. You are painting the same photograph with the same photograph with the screening mode. So it is also a part of the color corrections. You can see now only the jewelry is to be get highlighted. It's like you can make these desaturation format and all things, color mode, or leave it up. But for the time you got to know, pattern stamp is help us to get your color correction image to be paint, or else you can able to bring the grading back. Now, if this photograph to be turned into black and white, what to do? Image, adjust, desaturate, and turn that into pattern. Bring back the original by revert command. Now start painting the black and white photo onto the skin in normal mode. So wherever the skin is there, start making paint the opacity 100% and get it on. So wherever the skin is there, that turn into black and white. Leave it to these original jewelries and all. Do it roughly, and then after years, fine tune it through your history bus. Through your history bus. So do it randomly and roughly, doesn't matter. Then after which of the part to be get shown or the original, then switch to the history bus. Get the size down by the open and close bracket and get the jewelry parts to be in color and get your hardness to down so it should give a smooth impact and get your brush to be done. Only the skin get affected now with the help of your black and white and a few of the eyebrow to get original color, then you can drag it up to original or else leave it up. So hope we have understood how to make the colorful photograph to turn into black and white. Is it okay? You can that make that as a pattern. Yes. Again, bring back the original, revert, and make a comparison what you have done. Presentation does matter because people want to see what you have done. Show them. And that to be in a comparative manner. They always need to see the things in a comparative manner. What is before and after? We know copying, and we know pattern making, and we know how to fill the pattern. Get fill the pattern. Which pattern? Recent pattern. So hope on your screen everything is clear before and after. Is it okay? Fine. What you have learned that is executed on your screen. So hope you've understood the thing. Now these are the output and the tools we have learned. Invert, desaturate, hue saturate, and here one of the tool called pattern stamp tool. And here we have seen how to make masking to do the color corrections. Dress color, face color, hair color, everything, every mask could be generated. So it's all recorded, so nothing worry for you, like you can see the things number of time and get the job done. But this is what they need in the market. Fine. Now we'll be switching to one more like color correction tool, then we'll stop up. So just make pattern, get the original. Now if you need the photograph to turn into black and white, so let us close this. Until now, what are the black and white you have seen? There you can find black, white, and gray. Three things are there. But if you need pure black and pure white, no gray color, then the next option is called where threshold. What is the option? Threshold. It turns the photograph to done in complete black or complete white. No gray inside it. Still you can find the details. And here this slider, which part of the photograph you want more? I mean like dark area or bright area of the photographs. That slider could be move here. So if you move toward this, toward the right hand side, bright area is there, and to the left hand side, dark area zone is there. The time you move to the bright area zone, what happens? You get space more for the dark place. That's why the photograph is getting more dark. A reverse movement is there. Here the information of bright is there. Here the dark is there. But the time we are moving towards the bright, the photograph turn into black because it gives more informations to the black side. Same thing in a reverse way. If you move this, then it turn into more bright. And the center is the neutral stays. And the neutral stays with Alt and cancel button will turn into reset 128 gray value. So again, the things we have understood now, how to make a photographs to complete black and white with pure black and white dots. So again, different informations. What is the command? Threshold. Threshold. So these are like a few vital options to be taken care of in Photoshop. And we have seen now how to make a black and white in different format. Now the next part is like how we can able to make the black and white with a reference to the color. So the reference of the color means what? I mean like a photograph is there with red, blue, green, yellow. Then if we need the blue color part of the photograph to turn a little black and white, it is to be more black and white, or like dark. Whenever we switch to the option called desaturation or anything, then photograph is not under our control. It is default control. But now there is an option called black and white. In this, what happens? This software will give the information regarding the colors. And he allowed the artist to make which part of the photograph to be done, how much bright or how much dark in black and white. So now here you can find all the colors name. And if you switch off this preview button, they can see the color also. Preview on, preview. Preview means temporarily it shows like what is going to be happen if this is applied. Preview on. Now let us take an example. We want to this particular red color to turn into white color and rest of the things to be get black. How to do this? Make the preview on. Get the red color to turn into white. Yes, it happens along with all. But the yellow color to be turned into black. Can you see? Yellow turn into black. And this cyan color, whatever it is there on the sky, that should be turned into black. Then cyan turn into black. And the blue also doesn't require. So here we have seen a particular color can be turned into black and white or complete white or complete black. Once it is done, go for OK. And let us make this as a mask. So what is the concept now? Turn that into a pattern. Job is done. Bring the original photograph, revert. Now make a mask over here, right? And fill it with a black, right? Get your pattern brush and you have seen how to paint the pattern and you have done a black and white pattern of this photograph. Make your brush size more. And you know the red area is turned into white there and you are painting this. So what you've seen now, how to make the photograph to reveal through the pattern. And who is helping us? The black and white. So get the duplicate and make this photograph to get duplicate on your screen and get this mask to get out, delete. There are two photographs on your screen. One is on the top, only the red color part and the below the original. So above to this base layer, you can take a solid white. and turn that into this saturation mode. Just it is a next action applied on the skin. Instantly, you can make any photograph to be turned black and white by making this saturation mode to come up on to the layers. And if your layer is white, then saturation of the white is zero, and it is affecting to all the layer below as a saturation zero. So hope we have understood how to make a black and white through the saturation color mode. And we have understood how to make a black and white to use as a mask. So this much of extra information you got it now. Hope we have understood the things. That's it for the day. The summary of the class is this. So at a stage, we have seen few tools and few options, few color correction options and 1 2 tools also. Can take a print screen of it. Is it clear?
Okay.
Fine then. So then stopping the screen. Now the screen will not be visible. And ending the session.